Hi, folks, and welcome to the Escondido Adult School HiSET/GED program. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the Aztec program, which is the primary online program you'll be using at home, whether you're working towards your HiSET or your GED. So without further delay, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're just going to log in. So everyone's login is going to be the same or very similar. It'll start with the prefix 212, your first name, a dot, and then your last name. The password will simply be password. Once you log in, we wait, and then you're going to go to view classrooms. When you click on view classrooms, you'll see all the courses that your teacher has installed for you. So the main one you want to begin with is either going to be prep or bridge. Or if you want to do the Spanish option, you're going to choose the Serias Soluciones de Preparación de Aztec over here for GED. Remember, GED and HiSET are essentially the same thing. You're going to be going over the same materials, so don't get caught up in whether it says HiSET or GED. You'll also have some videos here as an option once you finish going through the initial part of the program, as well as some additional questions in whatever subject you're working on. In this case, I selected reading since that's probably what most of you are starting out on. So to begin, I'll show you the bridge program. When we enter the bridge program, there's going to be a bunch of stuff on the main screen, which honestly, I would just ignore. Go ahead and go to learning plan. Once you're in learning plan, you'll choose the subject that you're focused on. It'll either be reading, writing, or math. So again, we'll go with the reading since that's what most of you will be starting on. Under reading, it's broken down into general, specific, and gathering. But the whole format for all the subjects is pretty much the same. You're going to click on the main bar. There'll be a pretest option. There will be lessons over here on the left, drills on the right. Each lesson, no matter what subject you're in, corresponds to a drill that matches it. So after you do the lesson, then you'll do the drill. The drills are basically 10 questions just to see if you retain the information from the lesson. And the drills will be different questions each time you click on them. The lesson is always going to be the same lesson, so it'll just repeat. That way you can fast forward through it, skip the parts that you know, and focus on the parts that you don't. So for example, if I click on the lesson for reading for facts, it's going to begin with a slideshow. I'm going to mute that since it's not, won't talk over me there. And you'll just be going through the various slides. In this case, there's 24 of them. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. Once it starts to flash, like you see it's doing right here under next, you can click to the next slide. You can take notes. You can use your notes on the test that you'll take within the Aztec program, but on the real test, unfortunately, you will not be able to have those notes with you. So this particular program is going to be covering the basics in terms of reading. It's just kind of a recap in case you're a little bit rusty. If this is too easy, you'll see skill checks involved to make sure that you're paying attention. Clearly, I was not. I missed it, and it'll tell you if you missed it, why, in fact, it was wrong. So I'm going to exit that lesson. And then if I had done it to a completion, hopefully it'll say 100%. Sometimes these percents are wrong. So don't get too caught up in the percent. You'll know if you went through the whole program or not. Your teachers will not care if you completed it all the way through. Our main concern is, did you master the material that you're going to be tested on? And the first test starts off with this drill. So the drill, again, will be on the same information that you just were reviewing in the lesson. So when I click on the drill, as I told you guys, it's just going to be 10 questions. So here's 1 out of 10. It starts off with a woman's places in the home. If you've been paying attention over the last 30 years or so, we're going to know that is an opinion. And what do you know? I got it right. So that's what they call a cliche, right? And a figure of speech. So it starts off pretty easy. The second one, a majority of men at the Fairmont Country Club like football. So that may, again, be, is that a fact or is that an opinion? We don't really know anything about this particular country club. So you're going to go, again, opinion. And I was wrong. Apparently that was fact because it can be proved or verified. So just to show you, it's very easy to miss them. But when you do miss them, it'll tell you why, in fact, you missed that one. So you either submit the drill if you went all the way through to the end, or you can exit it if you didn't quite make it, or you didn't like, you found out it was too hard and you want to go back and review the first section of the lesson. If there's a green check mark, it just means that you've done the drill. So don't worry about that part. It's just a matter of going through them as many times as you feel is necessary. So if it's green, great. It doesn't mean that you cannot do it again. Once you've completed this part, you can go back to your dashboard, which will give you the information on how long you've logged in a given day or in a given week. View classrooms, again, will take us back here. We just went through the bridge program. I'm going to show you the other program that's most common, which is the HiSET Prep. This is the more advanced version that will prepare you more directly for the actual or official HiSET test. Again, there's a bunch of stuff on the screen. I'm going to go over to learning plan. These practice tests, I would avoid taking at the beginning. They tend to be very difficult. When you're about ready to take the official test, then I go ahead and take a practice test. It's going to be timed, as is the real one. So it'll be a very good indicator as to whether or not you're ready. So under learning plan, I'm going to click on reading, just like we did in the previous example. And it's going to divide it into 4 different categories. My recommendation for you guys, and you can choose to use it or not, is to log into the lesson first and then follow that up with the drill. I'm skipping the pre-test because at the end, there's a post-test that will measure everything I need to know. If you feel like you've already got a really good idea or handle on reading as this, and you scored very high on your entry test, you can try to take the drill first. And if you get a score of 70 or above, then move down to the next drill. If you keep getting 70 or better, that means you probably have a good mastery of the material, and you can just keep moving along and then go right down to the post test after you've gone through each one of these, in this case, 5 drills. For most of you, you'll again start out with the lesson as we did before, and then just do the drill that's right next to it. So the format doesn't really change. After you've completed the first section, which again is key ideas and details, you'll move on to craft and structure. All the setups are the same. It's just measuring a different aspect of reading. The reading part of this program is very thorough, and when you've completed it, you should be quite prepared for the actual or official exam. Once you've done the 1 or 2 or 3 sections, then it's a good idea to contact your teacher. Let he or she know how you've done, that you've gone through all the drills. Your teacher can then access your actual account and review your activity scores. You're able to review your activity scores as well if you want to see how you're doing on the drills. So that's up here on this tab right here. So you can check your scores at any time, and you'll see as you move down, what we've been doing mostly are drills. And since I haven't completed any, my scoreboard here is all blank. But once you start doing these tests, it'll populate and you'll be able to compare how you did in your first drill compared to maybe the second or third drill that you've done in the same subject. I'll go back to learning plan, which is again your home base. If you were in the subject of, say, social studies, it'll look very similar. You'll click on that rectangle and it'll divide it out again into 4 different categories: civics, geography, economics, and history. Once again, there's a pre-test and there's a post-test. I would recommend you skip the pre-test and just go right into the lesson and then do the drill that matches the lesson for each of these. Geography, you get the point. And then I would do the post-test at the end, see how you're doing, and contact your teacher. It's good to come by the classroom and do an extra practice test. Some of the ones we have in class are even better than the ones that are on this computer program here. They're more closely aligned to the actual test. So we always recommend that you guys come in, hopefully once a week. If not, once you've completed multiple drills, lessons and drills within a particular subject, it's a good idea to come in just to see where you're at. And we can, again, look at your scores and make sure that you're not wasting your time. Our goal is to get you through this as fast as we can and ready to take the test as soon as you feel prepared for it. So that's a quick overview of those first 2 sections that are going to be teaching you about the lessons and the drills. I'm going to go back to my classrooms. And the other 2 things I've got in here are that are in English are GED Play. If I click real quickly on the play, that's going to go through, I'm going to go to learning plan again, and it's going to be videos. I'll go through reading again here just to demonstrate. The first one is on, let's just say, how to read strategically. And these are going to be videos that are like YouTube clips of a teacher, kind of like you're seeing me right now, a little face in a box over there. And the teacher will be walking you through the various components of these particular strategies, in essence, for test taking. And I've muted it, but as long as you have volume on your computer, then you'll be able to hear everything. And you can also follow along as in this case, the woman is going through the various aspects of constructing an argument. So you'll see all the things that she's going to cover here. This section, GED play, is a little more advanced. So again, my recommendation is that you do it once you've already completed the part that you and I were just looking over. So once again, in classrooms, you want to start out either with bridge or prep. That's going to be your teacher's recommendation. And once you've completed the bridge or prep series on one subject at a time, that's our recommendation. Then you can go in and watch the video, see if that's helpful. You can also go up here to Flash. All these subjects look very similar, as you can see here. This is divided up into 3 different sections on Flash. These are just like flash cards. It's extra questions, like extra practice quizzes, just to see how you're doing. We wanted to make sure that if you're working from home a lot, you have plenty of options to review. So again, GED Play, GED Flash, work for HiSET as well as GED. They're just extra practice once you finish the bulk of the learning material, which we reviewed at the start of this little YouTube clip. If I go back into classrooms, the last thing I'll touch on is if you're bilingual or you prefer to take some of the tests in Spanish as well as English, we have a program here, which is the HiSET in Spanish. So it is through GED, but again, GED and HiSET, as you can tell, they look almost identical. So here is the part where you're going to go over writing or language arts. Everything, as you can see, is in Spanish. So if you are bilingual, you'll be able to click on any section here, the development of plot and theme, the main idea, and everything is going to be just the same as it was in English, but presented in the type of Spanish that will be used on the actual test. So that's just a little snapshot. And if you're interested in having that Spanish portion added into your classrooms, just let your teacher know. If you want to study predominantly in Spanish, you can also take the official test in Spanish. And again, we have a bilingual HiSET/GED teacher as well. So these courses are all offered in English or Spanish. Some people prefer to do a mix of them. It's totally up to you. But I hope that little preview has been helpful. So feel free to let me know or your teacher know if you have any questions. You can always watch this over in case you're extra bored. So we'll see you later and good luck with everything and we wish you the best.